Welcome to Shaped by Faith with your host, Theresa Rowe. To find out more about Shaped by Faith and Theresa Rowe, please visit shapedbyfaith.com or visit the YouTube channel, Facebook, or Instagram. And now, here is Theresa Rowe.
Welcome to Shaped by Faith. We shape our bodies and hearts for God's purposes. I'm your host, Theresa Rowe, and I have a special guest. Actually, I'm welcoming back Dr. Vaughn. He's the founder of Spirit of Health KC for part 2 of our powerful conversation on God's natural design for healing. We had a lot of great response, Dr. Vaughn, on your last interview. People actually loved what you had to say because people are so inspired to learn that I can do something about my health. So today we're going to dive a little bit deeper into what it means to partner with God in our health. People really need to know that. They're so curious about that. And maybe give them some practical ways. You know, we're going to talk about, or you're going to talk about detox and healing and living in alignment with God, our creator. So welcome back to Shaped by Faith.
Thank you. Honored to be back.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's revisit, in case someone did not hear our first interview, let's revisit your mission. You believe our bodies are always working with us and not against us. So can you unpack that truth for us?
Sure. And, I've been doing this for 15 years, and you run across people that I just think of this one woman in particular that suddenly just had this revelation and working with us. And obviously, a lot of the issues are physical. We have physical symptoms, we have pain, we have discomfort, we have a diagnosis, we have a disease. But this woman had been struggling so long, and she came to us in tears after working for us for about a month. And she goes, I just got the revelation that my body's not against me. Mm-hmm. And she goes, for years, I hated my body. I thought my body was against me. I was mad at God for it. And it's unbelievable how much that happens, and that's real, because people aren't going to talk about that in their daily lives when they're going on, how you doing? Oh, I'm fine, or I'm not doing so great, or like, who really gets into like how we're really feeling, especially when we're sick and we're not well, or our kids are sick and they're not well. And so one of the things I'm always trying to like educate people on and help people with is that, like, because we know the Bible, God is good. He's always for us. He goes before us in battle. He fights our battles. Yet we hear all these things, yet we have all this brokenness. And we have all this sickness. And we have all this pain. And we have all this disease. So what I try to explain about the body that's really important for people to understand is that if we believe we're designed in God's image, and we believe that God's good and he's a good designer, then everything the body's doing is exactly what it's supposed to be doing. So if we get a cold or a flu or a fever or some type of a symptom, it's just the body trying to kick out or remove or clear, toxins or poisons or things that aren't there. When we get sick, we lose our appetite. Wow. We don't feel like eating. We might throw up. We get food poisoning. We get diarrhea. And all these things, they're not fun. They're not pleasant. If you have kids, you go through these seasons of sickness, of it coming out both ends, and it's not pleasant, but it's a reminder that we have to remember that like the body is designed intelligently. And the way I look at it is, we're going through the Old Testament with our kids right now. Like, we actually just finished Deuteronomy, and the Bible talks so much about clean versus unclean. Like, we're designed in the image of God. He's a holy God. He says, be holy because I am holy. Mm-hmm. And so that means purity and cleanliness inside of our body. So if there's anything impure or unclean inside our bodies, God designed the body to try to purge and remove those toxins and poisons. Like, what does the liver do? What do the lungs do? What does the lymphatic system do? What does the spleen do? What do the kidneys do? Mm-hmm. Every single organ and system we have in our body is designed to keep us clean, to keep us pure, to keep us holy, to keep toxins out, to keep the blood clean. So I think the first revelation or understanding we need to have, and the reason we need to share this with people, is the medical system is the total opposite. Right. The body's bad. The body's failing. We don't know why this is happening. Oh, it must be genetic. There's nothing you can do about it. Take this drug. It's like this whole hopeless scenario, right?
True.
But the God of the Bible is a very hopeful, I am good. I am for you. yeah, we live in a fallen world, but it doesn't mean our bodies are working against us. Our bodies are always working for us to help us heal and to help us be well. And so our whole vision, mission, everything is about partnering. Even in a broken word, how do we partner with God to help our bodies get well? Because he wants that.
That's
He
so
wants that for his children. He wants us all healed and healthy and well. He wants zero people to get cancer or heart disease he wants none of that, but it's the result of a fallen world. So how do we learn how to reverse that and get back in alignment with how God created us to live?
that's so good. And Dr. Vaughn, we both know our bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit that resides within us. And so we have a responsibility to take care of these bodies that God
Right.
has given us. I kind of look at it as when we change outfits one day, how are you going to turn in this outfit that's been leased to you your entire life?
Right.
We can honor God with our bodies. So it's up to each one of us to actually take some steps forward to do that. That's why I'm so glad you're here on Shaped by Faith to help inform people. And I love the way you explain things. I mean, it's easily understood. You're not talking over our head. I'm getting it, and I believe everyone
Good.
else is too. Now, you've
Yeah.
said that symptoms aren't our enemy, they're actually messengers, right?
Right. Right.
So, what are some examples of how God uses pain and sickness to get our attention?
So we have a creed. It's a set of 11 we believe statements, but one of those creeds is pain is an indicator.
Hmm.
So pain's an indicator of something, right? So
Yes.
we go to the chiropractor, we go to the doctor, or we take pills and we do XYZ because we have pain.
Hmm.
And we're like, oh my gosh, pain is bad. And what are the most commonly prescribed of all pharmaceutical drugs is pain meds.
Yes.
Because people don't want to be in pain. And we don't want people to be in pain. We don't want people to suffer. But being in pain is kind of like the engine light coming on in your car. And that engine light is saying something's wrong. So you can either ignore it completely until the car breaks down, or you can snip the little wire and make the light go off and pretend like that didn't happen,
That would be,
right?
yes.
Or you can take it into the mechanic and be like, I don't know if this is major or minor, but can you check it out and see what's wrong? And sometimes it's minor and sometimes it's major,
Mhm.
right? So pain in our body is the same way. And I go through the extent of looking at it from such a polar opposite view of the medical system that pain is actually the brilliant design of a loving God. And what I mean by that is if we didn't experience pain, if we didn't get burned when we touch a fire, like we all would have been dead forever ago. Like none of us would have made it like a week, right? If we didn't actually feel and experience pain, because the world has a natural created order. God created it to function and work a certain way,
Mhm.
right? We can't just jump off a cliff and say, God, please save me. Like we're
That's right.
probably going to die. He
Don't be
could,
foolish.
but
Yeah,
99.9% chance we're going to die because that just was a dumb idea, right?
right.
So we have to live within the rules of creation. And God designed us so well as to experience pain that says, oh, your engine light's on, and I really love you, and I really need you to fix something or correct something or change something or heal something. And I'm here to help you do it. Because lots of people have been in pain and got out of pain.
Hmm. Hmm.
But a lot of people are living in chronic pain and don't know how to get out of pain.
So
But
true.
it's all an indication from a good God, from a loving God, that there's something I need you to address because my desire for you is to be healthy and whole. And if you never experience pain, you never know what it's like to be out of balance and out of alignment with God.
Absolutely. That's a good explanation. Okay, so one of your core beliefs is that God designed the body, and you've been talking about this to heal itself. What are some overlooked areas of the body when our body tries to heal, and how can we support the process instead of suppress it? And we may have to carry this on in the second segment as well.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I would love to get into that. I mean, that's diet, nutrition, fasting, herbs. I mean, there's all kinds of therapies, protocols. I have tons of free stuff on my website, videos. And so, yeah, let's totally dive into that. So, if you think about I just use the medical system for an example. That system is designed that symptoms are bad and we need to take something to make them go away, right? So we need to take
Yes.
pain drugs. We need to take cough suppressants. That's what they're called, suppressant. We're trying to suppress the cough. We're trying to take antihistamines to stop the histamine response, right? We're trying to take allergy meds that dry out our sinus cavity. So we're taking all these drugs to suppress or stop symptoms. Now, if what I'm saying is true at all, that we're designed in the image of God and God is good, and all the symptoms that are happening are supposed to be happening, and they're actually good, they're part of a natural process to help the body heal, cleanse, detoxify, normalize, then we need to work with the body and not against it.
Yes.
Samuel Clemens, who is Mark Twain, because a lot of people know that name, said that more so or better than any doctor, I always relied on fasting to cure myself of any ailment.
Oh, that's
So anytime he felt the slightest sickness, cold, flu, anything like, he would just stop eating, allow the body to do what God designed the body to do, and then you're stronger and healthier for it. The more man-made, petrochemical, over-the-counter drugs we put in their body, the more we're working against God's design. We're working against what the body's naturally trying to do to remove toxins and poisons. You know, a simple example would be asthma. Okay, if there's asthma, there's a problem in the lungs. There's congestion, there's mucus, there's probably mold or some infection. So we're going to take shots of steroids every day for years, and we're going to make that person and that condition worse to the point where that person's going to have some serious disease in 10, 15, 20 years because they've never allowed the lungs to heal because we just suppress it with a drug. So again, that's what we're always trying to educate people on. And so just like Samuel Clemens or Mark Twain said, you know, the best way to heal the body is like what Hippocrates said, let your food be your medicine, let your medicine be your food, right? Incorporate diet change, intermittent fasting, walking, exercise, sunshine, clean water. I mean, all the basic things we had and we believed in for thousands of years. Until the last 100 years, for some reason, we thought we created this superior medical system that's turned into something that's not. Because if you look at the rates of sickness, disease, cancer, I mean, my clinic's busier than ever, which I'm thankful for and I'm blessed, but at the same time, it's not a good sign that I'm busier than ever. It's not a good sign when you see more hospitals going up, hospitals adding more wings onto their hospitals.
Yes.
Like something is drastically wrong when the sickness business is growing.
That is so true. So, Dr. Vaughn, if someone's listening and they're like, okay, so what do I do? What does that look like? I have asthma, I have allergies. You know, for example, allergies here. I live in Kentucky. So
Right.
a lot of people this time of the year seem to have, you know, all of that going on. I use Navage, just the nasal
Yeah,
irrigation system. I'm like, it helps me, you know?
it
It's
works
like,
great.
it's like brushing your teeth, you know? So what should someone do? They're listening, they're like, okay, so what do I do?
Sure. I mean, if you're listening and you have basic issues like, you know, allergies or stomach issues or headaches or blood pressure issues or, you know, not that blood pressure can't be serious, but fairly minor things, I mean, go to our YouTube channel, you know, check through our website and all of our blogs. I mean, we have thousands of
You do.
resources that are free for people to check out. Now, if somebody's dealing with like chronic illness or a diagnosis or something serious, I prefer people do consultations. We do a free 15-minute discovery call. We do an initial consultation. We'll run labs to find out, do you have mold? Do you have parasites? Do you have Lyme disease? Do you have a viral issue? Do you have pesticide poisoning? There's all kinds of issues people have, but
Yeah.
we're all about getting to the root cause of what it has. And just to bring it back biblically or bring it back to God is if we have sickness and disease in our body, it means we have uncleanness in our
Yes.
body. You don't get a sickness or a disease for no reason. And it's not genetic. That's the lie of the medical system. I give genetics maybe 3%.
Mhm.
97% is diet, lifestyle, your choices you make every day, what you do or don't put in your body. You can be born with toxicity from mom and you can be exposed to things, but it's not genetic. I just have to make that point because that's what the medical system uses as an excuse so that you feel hopeless and that there's nothing you can do about it, which is totally opposite from the
That
truth.
is so
So
true.
the reality is our bodies are unclean, they're toxic, and that's why cleansing and detoxification is everything. And it's crucial and it's biblical. Read 2 Corinthians 7:1, one of my favorite scriptures where Paul says, now cleanse yourself of all filthiness and cleanse yourself of all filthiness in flesh and spirit. He doesn't say just cleanse yourself of all spiritual uncleanness.
Yes.
He says cleanse yourself of all filthiness of flesh. There's a reason God in the Old Testament gave us laws about hand washing, eating certain foods, what's clean or unclean. And I think a lot of times Christians are like, oh, that's Old Testament. It's like, no, that's the wisdom of God of how to live a long, healthy life. So why do we ignore that? And now I know
Absolutely.
that's going down a whole rabbit hole
Oh
and a whole
no,
other
no,
can.
I'm glad you brought that up. No, I am. Well, can you talk about detoxifying the body and what that may look like just in general? And I know you have a lot of
Sure.
information and resources available. And thank you for that you put it out there for free.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, I mean, really, it's for a lot of people, it's just getting back to basics. Getting back to basics. One of my favorite things to do is intermittent fasting. So you go down to 2 meals a day. You know, the typical American diet is 3 meals plus snacks in between, right? We're eating all day long. So how can the body, when it's completely overwhelmed, clear something out? Here's a I like to speak in these logical terms. So here's the example I give people. If somebody has a tumor, do we believe that God wants that tumor gone? Of course we do. God
Yes.
doesn't want that tumor there any more than you do. He probably wants it gone more than you do. So I explained that the body has a to-do list. So
Mhm.
that tumor, it's on the to-do list. But have you ever had a to-do list where you couldn't get through all the things on your to-do list?
Absolutely.
Of course, we all have, right? So the body has a to-do list. It's got a tumor. It doesn't want it there, but it's so busy digesting food all day long, dealing with the stress and anxiety, the lack of sleep we're getting, whatever it is. We're so busy with all those functions that where the system's totally overwhelmed. Even though it wants to get rid of that tumor, it can't because it's not able to get through the to-do list. So suddenly you start skipping a meal or two, you start doing some fasting, you eat fruits and vegetables only for a few days, you do a short juice fast. Like a lot of times we as Christians fast for spiritual reasons. There's
Yes.
unbelievable health benefits physically to fasting. And because it starts to purify our bodies, and our bodies can actually start to catch up and clean up stuff and burn off poisons and burn off waste. And, like water fasting, I don't know if you've heard these terms, autophagy, but autophagy is where the body starts burning off old, sick, dead, diseased cells. It happens 3 days into a water fast, and the
Mhm.
body starts to burn up anything that shouldn't be there. Anything that's old, sick, waste, dead, it burns it up as fuel. It removes it because again, God is such a good designer of the human body. He doesn't want those things in the body,
Mhm.
but the body never gets a chance to get to clearing those things because of the lifestyles that we're living, I guess I would say.
That is so interesting. Dr. Vaughn, during fasting, if someone's intermittent fasting, let's say they wake up, they eat something small, and they're going to fast until they eat dinner. They eat
Right.
something small, 5:30, 6 a.m. Can they also like drink water? What's allowed? And I know you just talked about water fast only, which is great. But what about if they have a hot tea? Is that allowed or not just?
Oh, that's great. Yeah, water, hot tea, stay hydrated, take minerals. I've had a lot of women I work with. Well, I have them do a little protein smoothie in the morning,
Uh-huh.
fast all day, and just eat protein and vegetables for dinner, a sensible dinner, just protein and vegetables. I've had hundreds of women do that, and they all lose weight, feel better, think more clearly. Like it's amazing how your body and things change when you actually allow it to heal itself. And
Absolutely.
I'll just leave you with this thing as I posted this one time and it might sound a little snarky. It's not meant to be, but the statement was are you willing to change your lifestyle enough to allow God to heal you?
Oh, that is so good. Okay, Dr. Vaughn, let's talk about miracles and obedience. Your
Mhm.
creed says that God heals through both. So, how do you explain this balance to people seeking healing?
Sure. Uh, the main reason I put this creed in here is one is I really, really believe it. And I want to break it down just a little bit. But I think a lot of times as Christians, we believe that faith comes through and healing comes through prayer
Yes.
and a miracle from God. And I believe in all that. I mean, I've seen miracles. I've seen people get up out of wheelchairs. I've been in deliverance ministry. Like I fully have seen the power of God. But the reason I make this statement is that there, if you look at like so many times in the Old Testament and even in the New Testament. Okay, let's give both examples. In the Old Testament, you had Moses and Deuteronomy, and he's saying, if you do these things, you will be blessed.
Hmm.
And if you do these things, you will be cursed. So like you can't just do whatever you want and expect things to go okay, right? Again,
Yes.
as I said earlier, there's a natural created order of how God designed the world to work,
Hmm.
like it or not. And even Jesus, I think about the woman who was caught in adultery and they were going to stone her, right?
Yes.
And they said, "You who have no sin, throw the first stone." And they all walked away. And he went up to her and he said, "Where are your accusers?" Well, I also don't accuse you. But what did he say to her? The last thing he said to her, sin no more.
Hmm. It's
He
so
didn't
important.
just give her a free pass. He was like, I forgive you, but stop sinning, please.
Hmm.
And I don't think a lot of times we think of the abuse of our bodies as sinning, right? But if
Right.
you think about the silly example I give people is you can love Jesus all you want, but if you sit in your basement and eat Doritos and drink Coca-Cola all day and watch TV, you're going to have serious problems develop because that's completely outside of how God designed human beings to live and function on this earth. If you think about the Garden of Eden, like how much of a contrast is that picture of a person sitting on their couch watching TV eating junk food versus the picture of the Garden of Eden. So
Right.
there's a level of obedience that has to happen. And if we don't have some level of obedience to creation, the natural created order, the result is sickness and disease. And if you look in our culture, we have more sickness, more disease, more chronic illness, more childhood chronic illness than ever before in human history, which tells me we're out of alignment with God's creation.
Absolutely. That is so good. And that was so easy to understand. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah,
And
you bet.
alignment, we have to move our bodies. And you already mentioned that. Walk, do something physical, be mindful of what you eat. Even Dr. Vaughn, I think we have to be mindful of what we watch, what we see, what we hear, what we
Totally.
participate in. It's all
Absolutely.
part of God's, natural design for our body to take care of it.
For
What does
sure.
it mean that health and freedom is our birthright? What do you mean by that?
Yeah. So another one of our creed statements. Yeah, I believe that every person has the chance and the opportunity to heal of whatever afflicts them. And the reason, again, I share this, I've already mentioned it, is just that the medical system doesn't believe this. They don't agree with it. They don't think you can get better. They think you have to take diabetes meds the rest of your life. They think you have to take blood pressure meds the rest of your life. You have to take statin drugs the rest of your life. You have to do chemotherapy and radiation as your only treatment options for cancer. Like there's so many things that they tell you you have to do
Mhm.
that leave people hopeless and believe it's almost like the medical system believes sickness and disease is your birthright.
Yes.
Like everybody at some point in their life, okay, what are the statistics now? 1 in 2 people are getting cancer. They say by 2030, 1 in 2 will have diabetes. Autism rates are as high as like 1 in 27 now, when it used to be like, you talk to my parents who are 73, there was no such thing as an autistic child
Hmm.
anywhere in their towns or cities where they lived in. That was unheard of. And so something is dramatically wrong. And I'd say with one of these things I say with this creed that's kind of heartbreaking to me is like our children are kind of the innocent victims of the system, so to speak. Like I kind of mentioned, vaccines before. I don't think vaccines are medicine. I believe vaccine is toxicity. It's poison. And again, I say that with a sincere heart, like going back to the Garden of Eden. Like, how did we get from trusting God in a garden and God saying it is good and saying, I have given you all things you need for life and godliness. And we turn that into a guy in a white lab coat mixing chemicals together with animal parts and aborted human fetal tissue and formaldehyde and mercury and God knows whatever else, putting it in a vial and injecting it into our children. How did we get so far away?
Do you think maybe it's all about the money, possibly?
And then wonder why America has one of the highest rates. That's a big part of it. Absolutely. But, you look at America has one of the highest infant mortality rates in the world. That's insane.
It is.
It shouldn't be that way. And
No.
it's just like you said, it's because of money. It's a system. And what I always say about hospitals, like God bless, great doctors and nurses out there, emergency care. There's all kinds of great things we're doing. But the problem is what people have to understand is a hospital is a for-profit business.
Yeah.
And they're sitting behind closed doors saying, how can we create more business? How can we create more sickness, more disease? How can we prescribe more medications? How can we do more surgeries? Because it's a business.
Yes.
And people have to understand that. And that's why I don't believe it's a godly system. Not saying there's not good people or good things happening.
Right.
But overall, it's not a system that believes in God and his creation and his design.
Absolutely. Dr. Vaughn, we're at the end of this segment. I'm going to have you on again for part three. There's so much information and resources that you can help us with, just simple things. And I want to thank you so much. So everyone look forward also to part 3 with Dr. Vaughn. So thank you so much.
Thank you again.
And thank you for listening. I'm Theresa Rowe. Everyone have a blessed day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Shaped by Faith with Theresa Rowe. Remember to visit shapebyfaith.com to find out more about workouts, the TV show, podcasts, blogs, Shaped by Faith products, and much more.